Two. Duplicating.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are waiting just a few minutes. We do not have a quorum yet. So there's not a whole lot we can do until we achieve that quorum. We're having some difficulty to get that quorum. So as soon as we do, we'll get started, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Guys, can everyone be asked to mute their phones?
Hello. Hello. Hey. Hello. Good. How you?
Sorry, are we still waiting?
Yes, sir, we are. Are there any board members who are on the phone that your name is not showing up?
This is Malcolm Gorge, former councilman for town of Blythewood. I just wanted to take this point of privilege to announce that my replacement is Mr. Sloan Griffin, and he is online and may, if he's muted, he may just wish to announce himself. That might help with the quorum.
Yes, sir, thank you. I've already got him on here.
Perfect.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, I'm on Malcolm.
Very good.
You have John Ando from Comment?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Thanks.
Susan Brill. Susan
got
Brill,
Real, thank you.
you're welcome.
Charles Simpkins, Lexington County.
Thank you, Mr. Simpkins.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello? Hello? I'm sorry? Just one moment, please. I'm sorry, she's not available at the moment.
Running into 10 minutes after, so. All right, so we're not going to delay any longer. We've waited long enough. We do not have a quorum, so we will just go through the meeting. We will take votes if we need to after. If we do get a quorum today, we'll go back and vote on it again. If not, we'll just carry it over to the next meeting and ratify everything at the next meeting. This time we'll move to item number 2, approval of the order and contents of the overall agenda.
So move.
Mr. Lyman moves for approval.
Second.
Real seconds that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Ms. Abrams, are you with us this morning? Is there anyone in the crowd willing for invocation for today's meeting?
I'll go ahead.
Thank you.
Lord, guide our deliberations today. Give us the wisdom to make the proper decisions. We trust in you alone. We pray for our citizens and our neighbors, and deliver us from evil. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Item number 4 is the introduction of new board members. First, we have Miss Annie McDaniel from Fairfield County. Miss McDaniel, if you would introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. I do not have my video on because I'm actually at the doctor with my mom. But we had Senator Fannin from our delegation, and he asked me to start serving. So I look forward to getting to know everyone, and I look forward to all the great things that we're going to do for the Central Midlands.
Very good. Ms. McDaniel, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Sloan Griffin from the town of Blythewood. Mr. Griffin?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. Glad to be appointed to serve with such a fine group of men. Looking forward to the work that we will do to serve the betterment of the people. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Griffin, and welcome to the Council of Governments. Next, we'll move into item number B is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move approval.
We have a move to approve and a second. All those in favor,
Second.
please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Very good. Thank you. Item number C, the regular agenda. Number 1 is the financial statement, and that is through June 30th of 2020. That is enclosure number 4 in your package. Ms. Jackson, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to say, in spite of everything that we have going on, our financial statement, our numbers look really good. Everything is pretty much, I mean, in spite of, some people working from home, everything is falling into place. Our numbers are looking good. And I also thank you guys for all your patience as well.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Jackson? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the financial statement through June 30th?
So move.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Dickerson. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Item number 2, the COG authorization of section 5307 funds. That is enclosure number 5 in your package. Mr. Simmons, you have the floor.
We're requesting your approval to transfer the entire balance of FY 2020 FTA Section 5307 funds to CMRTA. CMCOG is a designated recipient of FTA Section 5307 funds under MAP 21 in the FAST Act. Section 5307 is inclusive of the large urban program as well as the job access and reverse commute program. Through our memorandum of agreement or understanding with CMRTA, each year we determine the amount of monies that CMRTA will receive in Section 5307 funding balance. Historically, we have reserved $200,000 for planning purposes, but for FY 2020, we're requesting to transfer the entire amount over to CMRTA. So thus, for FY 2020, we received approximately $5.4 million. We are not planning to reserve any funds at this time. Thus, our request today is to transfer the entire balance of $5.4 million over to CMRTA. I'm delighted to answer any questions.
You said the 200,000 was planning money.
In the past, we reserved up to 200,000 for planning purposes. We do have some money from previous years so that we don't have to reserve any for this cycle. Therefore, we're requesting to transfer the entire balance over to CMRTA.
So this would go into the general balance of the CMRTA activities, right?
I believe so.
Any other questions?
Mr. Andor on the phone, on the call, can he answer, will he be able to answer that question? Because I may have some concerns, but Mr. Andor, would you please answer that question, where these $5 million and what fund it will go into, since we have certain issues? So I'd like to know that, please.
Yes, Ms. Dickerson. The funding is going to be used for a whole host of various items to fund the Commons activities. That includes operations assistance in Richland and Lexington counties, training, planning, ADA services in Richland and Lexington counties, band pool, transit security on buses and at Comet Central. Basically all eligible 5307 activities needed to operate and maintain the Comet system.
This is Bill Lottinger. Can you hear me?
Mr.
Yes, sir, Mr. Leidinger.
Mr. Bill Lighting, I still have the floor, I think, Mr.
I'll
Chair.
defer to Ms. Dickerson, of course.
Yes, Ms.
Okay,
Dickerson.
Mr. Andor, you mentioned Richland and Lexington counties. Are there no other counties going to be inclusive in the use of these funds?
No, our service area is only Richland and Lexington. And since these are Columbia urbanized area funds, and we provide the bulk of the transit services, 99% of the transit services in those urbanized areas, we have to allocate those funds respectively to those areas.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you, Mr. Andor.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms.
Bill
Dickerson.
This is
And
Bill
Ms.
Leidinger here.
Dickerson, just so you're aware, the board of directors at the comment yesterday did approve the FTA spending plan of how they would use these FTA funds for the upcoming fiscal year. I can get you a copy if you'd like.
Thank
I have
you.
a
This is Bill
question.
Leidinger. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Leidinger. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask if you have detailed information on the amounts of these funds that are going to be devoted to the specific activities that you mentioned.
Yes, I can share that with you. It will come back again.
My question is, why isn't that included in the agenda item?
I can answer that, John.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Leidinger, what we're doing today is part of a two-step process. Step one is to transfer the monies over to CMRTA. Once we do that, CMRTA will decide how they want to spend those funds, develop a list of projects, and then step two is for them to bring that list back to us to include that into the tip. So we're
All
not.
right, thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me, then, we're not approving this by CMRTA. We're putting the money there, but then they will come back for approval on how it will be spent.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is Annie McDaniel. I have a question.
Yes, Ms. McDaniel, go right ahead.
Okay, yes, I'm hearing that this is for the urbanized areas of Richland and Lexington, but if there was any decided upon agreements or memorandums of understanding where by Newberry and or Fairfield could utilize some of the services, is it possible that they can be incorporated to receive services?
I believe the transit services, both in Newberry and Fairfield, have separate transit systems. They also operate under what's called the rural program. So the primary funding source that they receive comes through SCDOT under a program called 5311.
Correct, but I was wondering if there's a way we could join services because there's still an issue with, I know in Fairfield, there's still an issue with transportation. So if we could work out some agreement with Fairfield and CMRTA to get people deeper into Richland or Lexington County for some of the jobs that might be available.
I would like to answer that question if you don't mind, Mr. Simmons.
Yes, sir.
We already have an agreement with Fairfield County in relation to a partnership where their riders will meet our service at the Killian Road Walmart Superstop, and then we give them a free ride into the Comet service area, and then vice versa. They ride the Comet bus to the Killian Road Walmart Superstop, and then they transfer to Fairfield County Transit Systems bus to get to Winsboro and other destinations in Fairfield County. That's been in place since June of last year.
Okay, awesome. Can I get a copy of that agreement, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Andal. Are there any more questions?
Yes, this is Rusty DePass. I'm kind of the new boy on the block, and I'm looking at this thing where it says Santee Watery RTA has declined funding for this year, and I'm wondering, number one, why that would be, and number two, is Santee Watery within the what do you call it, CMRTA area, or does it go across county lines to Sumter and so forth?
No, sir. The MPO, the transportation program, has expanded beyond the CMCOG boundaries. So it goes up in Kershaw County as well as Calhoun County. I think through the transit law, Santee Water RTA is required to serve Kershaw County. Right now, they don't have the matching funds to request any funding at this time. So when we spoke with them about making this division of the funds, they declined to accept any funding at this time because they don't have the local match.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Very good question. Anyone else have any other questions? Very good. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Very good. Moving on to item number 3, the COG authorization of section 5339 funds. That is enclosure number 6 in your package. Mr. Simmons.
I think we're on 7, aren't we?
After this question, you'll approve the transfer the following allocation to CMRTA for FY 2020. We received $626,271. Once again, CMCOG is a designated recipient for the Columbia urbanized area. As a designated recipient, we are responsible for coordinating the federal grant programs to assist the improvement of the urban transit system. Those programs include Section 5310, 5307, as well as 5339. Under the Section 5339 program, that funding source can be used for the replacement, rehabilitation, and the purchase of bus and bus-related facilities. For FY 2020, CMCOG received approximately $626,000 in that funding source. That's fine. Under the FAST Act, CMCOG can make the funds available to the public transit provider. As a direct recipient, CMRTA can apply directly to FTA. The funding does require a 20% match. Once CMRTA determines which projects they would like to apply for, they will submit those projects back to CMCOG to be included into the TIP. What you'll find in your packet is a split letter that provides this funding transfer to CMRTA. As noted in the letter, Santee Watery was approached about funding and they have declined funding at this time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, there's a lot of numbers. On the 600,000, that will go, we're just giving them the authority to use that. And
Yes,
for the, is that for the replacement of vehicles or?
Well, we just giving them authority to receive the monies at this time. Once they determine how they would like to use it, they will come back with us with a list of projects.
They'll come back for approval.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lyman. Anyone else? Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Simmons?
Move the approval.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Very good. Moving into item number 4, the TIP amendment for FY 2019, section 5307 for the funds for the CMRTA as closure number 7 in your package. Mr. Simmons.
We request your approval to amend the 2020 to 2027 SIP to add approximately $5.2 million in section 5307 funds from CMRTA. CMCOG, once again, is a designated recipient. Through our MOU, we determine how much money CMRTA will receive on an annual basis. For FY 2019, we transfer our entire balance of approximately $5.2 million over to CMRTA. CMRTA has developed the list of projects and how they want to use this funding. Those projects include crime and prevention, which is to help support police officers in securing CMRTA facilities. They're going to buy 7 40-foot buses. The expansion program that would be used to help provide services to the University of South Carolina. And then they're going to also purchase 5 replacement 40-foot buses that also will be used in providing services to the University of South Carolina. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I think John is online. The university transit system has now been taken under operation by CMRTA?
That is correct.
Okay. So we are spending about $5 million to buy buses. Understand that from the request here. Of that $5 million is a federal match required, I believe 15%. That's about $750,000. Who is providing that $750,000? The taxpayers?
The university
Can I
is.
finish my question? Is that the taxpayers paying that? Or the university is making the match?
Like I said, the university's paying for that.
So they're putting up $750,000.
That's what I said.
Okay, no, I'm just, yes, sir, I thank you, but I'm just trying to get clarification because I'm just a taxpayer representing the city of Columbia.
The university is paying for everything related to the operation of the shuttle system that we're providing under contract. There is no taxpayer dollar associated with the operation of the university's service.
That's great. That's great news. Thank you, John. I just want to make sure. So none of the penny funds will go for this program.
None whatsoever. And the contract is very specific on that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, one other question on the security, the $100,000 for the security, is that for police officers or a private security firm?
For police officers, we have contracts with City of Columbia Police, Richland County Sheriff, and City of Casey Police.
Great. Well, thank you. I move the adoption.
May I ask another question, please?
Yes, sir.
This is Rusty DePass, and I know I'm the new boy on the block, but I'm concerned, or the question comes up in my mind about the size of these buses. And if you're going to have a shuttle service moving around through downtown Columbia and the university campus, is a 40-foot bus the optimum size to do something like that? Seems awfully large to me.
We have 8 40-foot buses in the current Comet Transit system that does travel through downtown Columbia. We just got another 5 free buses from the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada for this service, and they're all 40-foot buses, and we've been doing tests, and they've been working out great.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Move the adoption.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Item number 5, the COG DBE plan update, enclosure number 8 in your package. Mr. Simmons.
Staff requests approval to adopt the CMCOG Coast MPO Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Plan. The DBE program is a federal mandate that seeks to ensure non-discrimination in the award and administration of federal assistance contracts. The type of contracts that it covers include road construction projects, transit services, as well as professional consulting services. In accordance with federal requirements, the designated recipient, which is CMCOG, must have a DBE program and must set an annual DBE goal. As a designated recipient, we must make a good faith effort to award a percentage of our contracts to DBE firms. It's a policy of CMCOG to ensure that all businesses have the equal opportunity to receive and participate in US DOT assistance contracts. Our policy includes to ensure that non-discrimination in award and administration of US DOT contracts, to create a level playing field for which DBEs and small businesses can compete fairly for contracts, to ensure that our DBE program is now in accordance with the federal guidance, to ensure that only firms that meet the requirements of being eligible DBEs are permitted to participate as a DBE, to remove any barriers of participation for DBEs and small businesses to compete for US DOT assisted contracts, and then to assist in the development of firms so that they compete fairly and successfully in the marketplace outside of the DBE program. In order to meet this policy, CMCOG is a member of the SCDOT Unified Certification Program. We provide a triannual workshop. We work with non-certified DBEs so that they can learn about the UCP process. We include all the required federal clauses in our contract so that our contractors and subcontractors are fully aware of our position when it comes to non-discrimination. and we will make a good faith effort to meet our triannual DBE goal. Currently, our DBE goal is set at 5%, which was established in federal fiscal year 2020. Our next DBE goal submission will be August 1st, 2022. As your transportation director, serve as the DBE liaison officer. My chief transportation planner serves as my DBE coordinator. CMCOG will primarily use what's called a race conscious approach in meeting our DBE goal, which simply means that we will set a contract limit on DBE participation on each and every contract. We ensure that our DBEs are paid properly for the satisfactory work. We will submit a semi-annual report to FTA. We encourage the use of DBE financial institutions when available, and we will always ensure that there's a level playing field in the awarding and administration of DOT assistant contracts. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chair, I have a quick question. This is Livingston.
Yes, sir.
What is the definition of a disadvantaged?
What was that? Reggie.
Sir.
Do the actual goal do not need to be stated in the policy?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do the goal not need to be stated in the policy?
No, sir, because the goal is calculated separately. So it does not, it's not stated clearly in the policy, since the goal will constantly be changing based off the marketplace.
All right, thank you.
Doug, I think you had a question. Any other questions?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Very good. Item number 6, Title V Plan Update, enclosure number 9 in your package.
Staff is requesting your approval to adopt the CMCOG's Coast MPO Title VI and Environmental Justice Plan. Every 2 years, the MPO is responsible for updating this Title VI and Environmental Justice Plan. Staff has fully updated the Title VI plan by including the environmental justice component to meet the federal guidance as specified in circular Title VI requirements and guidelines for Federal Transit Administration recipients. Regulations requires MPOs who are federal grant recipients, such as the Coast MPO, to have a Title VI plan. Title VI under the Civil Rights Act states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of race, color, or natural origin, be excluded from participating in, be denied the benefit of, or be subject to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Title VI prohibits intentional discrimination on protected groups, and the transportation planning regulations require consistency with Title VI and any additional civil rights laws and regulations. This Title VI update plan includes FTA civil rights assurance to comply with the Civil Rights Act, associated statutes and executive orders, a limited English proficiency plan that identifies the outreach efforts to persons who have the limited ability to speak, read, and or write English, public participation outreach efforts to the traditionally underserved populations, and a social equity analysis that identifies the potential environmental justice areas within our region. The table that you see before you is one for the Coast MPO. In the plan, we also have one that's included for the CMCOG area. What this table specifies is that in Coast, we have approximately 695,000 people within the Coast MPO area. 43% of that population is considered to be minority. 5.4% of that population is considered to be Hispanic. 13% is over the age of 65. 1.3 has limited ability to speak, read, or write English. And then there are possibly 14% of the households within our region that are below the poverty line. We also include in the plan a visual representation of what's specified in the table. You see on this table right here, this is related to minorities. So you can see by the heavy concentration that 43% of the minority population with our region is located primarily in Richland County. Yes, ma'am. We look at Hispanic population, we have good disbursement within the Coast region, but the highest percentage is also located in Richland County. For population over the age of 65, once again, pretty good disbursement, but Based on our numbers, the highest population is also in Richland County. And then for the final map, for the households below the poverty line, primarily the highest percentages and concentrations are also located in Richland County. Our current MPO board has 53 members on it. 26 members are considered to be African American or Black. 68% of the board is considered to be white. We currently have 3 vacant members, possibly 5%. We currently do not have any Hispanic or Latino members, so that percentage is 0. As part of the Title VI plan, we also have a complaint process. I serve as a complaint officer, so for any alleged incidents, the complaint has to be submitted to me within 180 days. CMCOG does not investigate their complaints. Those complaints will be submitted to either the proper federal or state agencies. Most likely we submit them to SCDOT. They will deal directly with the complainant about the issue that they are raising. If the complainant is unsatisfied with the response that they get from SCDOT, they can respond to the department. They can appeal to the Department of Justice within 10 calendar days of receiving that response. The DOJ will deal directly with the complainant or the individual who is assisting the complainant. We will keep a logbook of all complaints that we receive as a matter of record. Once we receive the complaint, the final report, and whatever remedial action that was specified, that will also be kept in our logbook and shared with any federal state agency within 180 days of the receipt of it. The summary and the resolution will be included into any of our Title VI plan updates as we move forward. And we also keep records available for compliance audits from the state and the feds. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Are there any other questions? I apologize. I read that as Title V. I read it as a backslash and not a 1. It is actually Title VI.
Those Roman numerals.
Yeah. Are there any questions for Mr. Simmons? Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Mr. Liming makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Very good. We will move right into section D of our agenda today, announcements and committee or staff reports from Director Ben Malden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a few quick announcements. Wanted to first let you know that the annual SCARP conference that we normally have in Myrtle Beach the week before Thanksgiving has been postponed this year due to the COVID pandemic. I have some staff highlights. First in finance, Petula Henley has taken on a new role as Director of Financial Management and Supportive Services. She and the finance team is going to be working to streamline our accounting system, policies, and procedures. And Chanel is still going to be serving as our finance director. We also have 2 new accounting temps. And can y'all pronounce, is it TT? How do you pronounce her name?
She goes by TT.
Okay, TT, Oklamo, and Amber Bowman. Both of them will be providing general accounting support and providing support in our grant part. In aging, we have recently hired Candace Holloway to serve as our AAA director and ADRC director, and Jenny Andrews has been promoted to serve as our family care advocate. The Catawba Regional COG has recently received $8.2 million for COVID impacted operations. We have 2 counties, Richland and Fairfield, which are eligible to apply for those grants, which are from $50,000 to $750,000. Catawba serves over 29 counties in the state. BCD and Upper Savannah are the other COGs that do the revolving loan fund program. Lexington County and Newberry would go to them for the same type of money. CMCOG was also awarded $400,000 from EDA for the CARES Act to develop strategies to strengthen sectors of our regional economy. That's a grant that we just recently got. And then finally, COATS, the Columbia Area Transportation Study, just recently went through every 4 years, we go through a partner review by the FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, and FTA, to conduct an evaluation of how our operations and effectiveness as an agency are being carried out through the Metropolitan Planning operation and planning process. And we're asking for you to make public comments through September 4th. And we have that information here, will be on our website, or we can send that out to you, but we ask for any public comment on that. And I believe that's everything I have. Reginald, did you have anything else you want to add? Good. All right.
Very good. Thank you, Ben. Are there any questions for Mr. Malden?
Can you hear me?
Very good.
Let me ask a question just quickly. I didn't pick up what the solution was to the fact that Lexington and Newberry are not eligible for these COVID impacted funds.
Well, they are eligible. They just, when EDA was drawing up those boundaries for these types of funds for revolving loan funds, they actually are in the upper Savannah cog area. So
okay, so it's just a boundary thing.
Yes, sir. There's about $780,000 that folks that are in that area are eligible to apply for.
I understand. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Very good. Is there any old or new business?
Old business, a point of order. In the consent, when we approve the minutes, I think we need to make a clarification in the minutes of the June meeting on item C2. The minutes reflect that the motion was passed unanimously. That is not the case. There were some verbal no's, so it should just read was approved, just for the official records.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Liming.
You're welcome.
Any old or new business?
This is Rusty DePass again. If I could ask one more question. I think you said in the beginning that we didn't have a quorum. Exactly what is a quorum?
25 members of the board that need to be present.
Okay, thank you.
Unfortunately, we fell one short today. Is there any other business? Very good. Without objection from the board, we are adjourned.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Abrams.
I'd like to say that I believe an email went out regarding the new appointment of Ms. Candace Holloway, and I did not get a copy of that. I'm sure it was an oversight. I'd like to get a copy of that, please.
Absolutely, Ms. Abrams.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll get that to you.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order. We could go ahead then at the September meeting and just ratify everything that we've done today.
That is correct. Yes, sir, Mr. Liming. That's exactly what we'll do if we have a quorum at the September meeting. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. The board is now adjourned.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.